Good day, everyone. My name is FM Shreyas Smith from Pro Chess Evolution, and today we're going to be taking a look at one of the games on the recently concluded Winter Rapids International Tournament, the Under 1300 section. Now, this game was played between white pieces James Schneider and the black pieces Chika Pride. Now the game started e4, e5, knight f3, knight c6, bishop c4, bishop c5, c3. Now this is the making of the Italian game. Now white just played the move c3 here. The main idea of the c3 move is so that he can support his pawn going to d4 so that he can take maximum control of the center. Here black responds with knight f6, continuing his development. And here white still plays d4. So e takes d4. And now white pushes forward for more initiative with e5. Here in the game, black played knight to e4. Now the main line goes actually d5 here, counter-attacking on the light square bishop. And play might continue bishop b5, knight e4, c takes d4, bishop b6, knight c3, castle, bishop e3, bishop g4, h3, attacking the bishop, a5, queen c2 coming out of the pin, bishop g6, queen b3. And here there are thousands of games played in this position. That is the most topical. Now let's get back to the move that was played in the game. Knight e4. Now here, this move knight to e4 is actually a mistake here. Now if you want to take some time to pause the video, you can, to find out how white could have made the most of this error from black. Alright, so the way white could have exploited the knight heading into the territory too early would have been bishop to d5. And now when you look at it, the knight in the center is very void of a lot of squares. Alright. But white didn't see this in the game and he played c takes d4, bishop b4 check. And here white played bishop to d2. Here I would have preferred knight to d2, just so that I could preserve the bishop here. Yeah, but here white plays bishop to d2, and black rightfully took white's bishop. So now black has the bishop pair advantage. Knight takes d2. Here d5 striking in the center for black. Good move. Alright, and here white played bishop b3. Here I would have preferred the more active bishop b5. More active square for the bishop, and also giving a pin to the knight on c6, preparing to damage the black pawn structure as well in some lines. Alright, bishop b3, bishop g4. Black rightfully goes for developing his last minor piece, invoking a pin on the knight on f3. Here white played castle, reluctant to the pawn on d4, but here instead of castle, maybe bishop a4, just to ensure that the knight isn't able to freely capture on d4. So let's say, for example, bishop takes d2, making use of the fact that the knight is pinned, so white must take with the queen. And then let's say black decides to capture here and damage white's structure. Now here is where we try to strike a balance between dynamic and strategic. Here, white has a strategic disadvantage in terms of his doubled pawns. He has a damaged pawn structure. But here he makes up for it in dynamic compensation, in the fact that he can play f4 to help solidify his center. And also now he can also play on the G file in hopes of an attack someday. So here, white castle. Bishop takes d2 was played, taking advantage again of the fact that the knight is pinned. Queen takes d2, and black takes and damage the pawn structure with the white king getting exposed. Castle from black. And now white played rook a c1. Here this move is a bit inaccurate here, because the side that you're stronger on here as white is the king side. Hence, when you see the pawn, you have the maximum amount of space on the king side. So you want to really be playing over there. Rook c1 doesn't help that. Instead, a move that could have been played was king to h1. Going for a similar idea as what was talked about before, in bringing the rook to the file to create real dynamic counterplay. But here now, white played rook a c1, and now black made the right move in f6. The idea is white's king is exposed. So when you have an exposed king, you should try to open the pieces and open lines for your pieces to get in to the active spaces to go for the white king. Here f4 was played, but now takes, and now black's rook gets active along the file, the f file, to be able to come into the game. Rook f5, black starts to bring in the rook that we talked about, and here white played bishop to c2, which led black to find a nice combination that won material here. So if you want to pause the video for a bit just to see how black gained material in this position. Alright, so here blacks played the splendid move queen to g5 check, which checks the king and also attacks the white queen. So white is forced to take, and now black takes back, the king moves, and what happens is that black has removed a key defender of the d4 pawn with tempo, and as such is now able to take the pawn as is. Before, instead of bishop c2, f4 would have been the better move to cut out any queen g5 stuff. So let's say bishop c2, queen g5, takes, knight d4. Alright, and now here f4 was played, rook h5, f5, and now black played knight e2. A nice move with a double threat of the rook on c1, taking it directly, and also a fork possibility by playing the knight to g3. Now, you might think that it's all gloom and doom for white now, but white has one final resource that would have helped him. In the game, white played e6, which was not the best move. So you can pause the video again and see if you can find the right way that white could have given resistance. Alright, the way that white could have given resistance here was playing the move bishop to d1. Pinning the knight to the rook on h5. Now the point is that after a move, let's say he plays knight to g3, white can now play the move king to h1, and now the knight on g3 is attacked and the rook on h5 is also attacked. So after knight takes rook, white can capture black's rook and the material becomes a bit balanced. I missed this chance here, and e6 was played, takes on c1, takes on c1 here, and a pretty smooth conversion from black afterwards. And white resigned here. Very, very nice game played by both players. Full of tactical resources for both sides.